Have you ever wondered what women secretly value more than money? It's not what you might think. Behind every smile and every quiet moment, there are timeless treasures that truly capture a woman's heart, things that have mattered for generations. In this video, we'll uncover the 6 things women cherish deeply beyond riches or fame. Stick around because understanding these could change the way you see love forever. Before we begin, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a story rooted in tradition and truth. 1. Respect, the cornerstone of love and trust. In a quiet village many years ago, there lived a man named Thomas. He was not wealthy by any measure. His pockets held little gold, and his fields were modest. Yet he was a man who understood something that money could never buy: respect. In the heart of the village lived Mary, a woman of grace and strength, whose beauty was matched only by the kindness she carried within her. Now, Thomas had always believed that a relationship should be built on something far more enduring than riches. He believed in honoring Mary, in treating her with a dignity that came from a place deep within his soul. Whenever he spoke with her, he listened as if every word was a treasure. He never interrupted, never dismissed her thoughts, and always showed gratitude for her presence. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, the village gathered around a fire. Stories were shared, and the elders spoke of the values that had kept their families strong through generations. One elder said, "A man who respects a woman gives her a place of honor in his heart and home. Without respect, love fades like the evening light." Mary noticed this in Thomas. She felt it every time he held the door open for her or when he sought her opinion before making a decision, no matter how small. It was in the way he looked at her, not as someone to be possessed, but as a partner and equal. This respect made her feel valued beyond measure, far beyond what any sum of money could offer. As days turned into years, their bond grew stronger. When troubles came, as they always do, respect was their anchor. Thomas never raised his voice in anger. He listened, understood, and sought peace. Mary, in turn, gave her loyalty and love freely, knowing she was honored and cherished. Respect, you see, is not something loud or flashy. It is a quiet strength, a gentle acknowledgement of the other's worth. It is shown in the little things: a kind word, a thoughtful gesture, a willingness to put the other's needs alongside one's own. In today's world, where so much attention is given to wealth and material gain, it's easy to forget that respect remains the foundation upon which true love is built. Women like Mary secretly long for a love where they are seen and honored as the whole person they are, where their thoughts, feelings, and dreams are treated with the utmost regard. The great poets and storytellers of old understood this. They spoke of knights who fought not just for glory, but to protect and respect the women they loved. They sang of queens who ruled not just with power, but with the respect of their people and their partners. So if you want to understand what a woman truly treasures more than money, remember Thomas and Mary's story. It is respect that lights the flame of lasting love. Without it, riches mean little. With it, even the humblest life shines bright. 2. Loyalty, the quiet promise that lasts a lifetime. Long ago, in a small village surrounded by rolling hills and whispering woods, there lived a couple named Samuel and Eliza. Their love was like the steady river that ran through the village, calm, persistent, and unwavering. Samuel was a humble blacksmith, known not for wealth, but for his steadfast heart, and Eliza was a woman of gentle spirit and deep faith. The village had seen many come and go, and with them, fleeting romances that flickered like fireflies on a summer's night, beautiful but short-lived. But Samuel and Eliza shared something different: loyalty. Loyalty is often mistaken for blind devotion, but true loyalty is a quiet, powerful promise. It is the decision to stand together through the seasons of joy and hardship alike. It's the kind of devotion that doesn't waver when the sun sets or when storms approach. Their story began when Samuel first asked Eliza for her hand. He did not offer riches or grand titles. Instead, he spoke earnestly of his heart and the life he hoped to build, one where loyalty would be their guiding star. Eliza saw in him a man who valued commitment more than coins, and she accepted. In the years that followed, their loyalty was tested. There were hard winters when food was scarce, times when illness struck, and days when worries about the future clouded their minds. Yet Samuel never faltered. When neighbors doubted or life felt uncertain, he stayed true to Eliza, and she, in return, stood by his side with unwavering faith. One evening, as the village gathered to celebrate the harvest, the village elder told a story that seemed to echo their lives. "There once was a mighty oak that stood through countless storms," the elder said. "Its strength was not just in its towering height, but in the roots buried deep beneath the earth. Loyalty is like those roots, hidden, unseen, yet what keeps a love strong through all seasons. Eliza understood this deeply. She knew loyalty was not about grand gestures or words spoken only in good times. It was shown in the simple acts of staying true, forgiving mistakes, and choosing to believe in one another every single day. In today's fast-moving world, where promises are easily broken and distractions pull hearts apart, loyalty is a treasure more precious than gold. Women secretly cherish a partner who chooses to be present, who honors the bond they share, even when no one is watching. Samuel's loyalty gave Eliza a sense of peace that money could never buy. She could face the trials of life knowing her heart was safe. And this security is something many women long for. A quiet assurance that the person they love will not abandon them in their hour of need. Poets have long praised this virtue. They told of heroes who returned home after battles, not just victorious, but loyal to the vows made under the quiet moonlight. They sang of queens whose reigns lasted because their kings remained faithful. So, if you want to understand what a woman secretly treasures beyond wealth, think of Samuel and Eliza. Their love was rooted in loyalty, a promise stronger than riches, enduring beyond time. In a world that often chases fleeting pleasures, loyalty is the steadfast light that guides the heart home. It is the quiet strength that makes love not just a feeling, but a lifelong journey walked hand in hand. 3. Quality time. The gift of presence in a busy world. In a quiet countryside, where the seasons painted the landscape with endless beauty, there lived a couple named Joseph and Hannah. Their days were filled with the simple rhythms of life, tending to the garden, gathering wood, and caring for their children. Though their lives were modest, their love was rich and deep, nourished by something rare and precious. Quality time spent together. Joseph was a man of the old ways. He believed that no treasure could match the value of shared moments with those you love. When he looked at Hannah, he saw not just a wife but a companion for life's journey, someone whose presence alone could brighten his days. Now, in those times, the world was not filled with the distractions we know today, no buzzing phones or endless noise, yet even then, life could pull people apart with daily tasks and worries. Joseph understood that it was not enough to live under the same roof. One must truly be present. Every evening, after the day's work was done, Joseph would sit with Hannah by the fireplace. They would talk about their hopes, their worries, and sometimes just sit in silence, content in each other's company. These moments, though simple, were the foundation of their bond. One night, as the stars twinkled above, an elder visiting the village shared a story around the fire. There was once a king who possessed great wealth, but he was lonely. He sent messengers far and wide, seeking a gift to fill his heart. None brought treasures, but one returned with a small hourglass. "This," said the messenger, "is time, the most precious gift of all." Joseph often thought of that story when he held Hannah's hand or shared a quiet laugh with her. He knew that no amount of gold could replace the gift of his undivided attention. In today's world, where distractions come from every direction, women secretly long for the gift of quality time more than money. They cherish the moments when a man sets aside all else to focus solely on them, when they feel truly seen and valued. Quality time is not about grand outings or expensive dinners. It is about presence, the willingness to listen without interruption, to share without haste, and to build memories that weave the fabric of a lasting relationship. Hannah once told Joseph, "When you sit with me like this, it feels like the whole world stops, and I am the only woman alive." Those words, spoken softly in the glow of the firelight, meant more than any riches could. The great storytellers of old knew this well. They wrote of lovers who cherished every stolen moment, every whispered secret, and every quiet embrace. They understood that love grows not from what you own, but from the time you give. So, if you want to understand what a woman secretly treasures beyond money, remember Joseph and Hannah's story. It is the gift of your time and presence that truly touches the heart. In a world that moves fast and demands much, slowing down to be present is a rare and beautiful act. It is in these moments that love deepens and grows. Strong enough to weather any storm. For thoughtfulness, the gentle art of showing you care. In a village nestled between ancient forests and flowing rivers, lived a young man named William and a woman named Grace. Their love was quiet, like the soft rustling of leaves in the wind, yet it held a strength that many sought but few found. William was not a man of grand gestures or loud declarations. Instead, he believed in the small, thoughtful acts that speak volumes, acts that show care and understanding without words. It was this thoughtfulness that Grace treasured deeply, more than any treasure that gold could buy. One spring morning, as the first flowers began to bloom, William noticed Grace looking weary. She had been working hard in the fields and caring for her family, often putting their needs before her own. Without saying a word, William took up her burden for the day. He carried water from the well, gathered firewood, and even prepared a simple meal. Grace was touched not because of the chores done, but because William had seen her exhaustion and acted out of kindness. This silent understanding, this gentle attention to her needs, made her feel loved in the purest sense. That evening, as they sat by the fire, the village elder shared a tale that echoed William's quiet kindness. There was once a prince who sought to win the heart of a maiden. He offered her jewels and gold, but she was unimpressed. It was only when he remembered her favorite flower and placed it beside her pillow that she saw the depth of his care. Thoughtfulness, dear ones, is the language of love. Grace realized then that thoughtfulness is not about grand displays, but about truly knowing the other person. Their joys, their worries, their little comforts. It is a daily practice, a way of weaving love into the fabric of everyday life. In today's world, where hurried lives often leave little room for reflection, women secretly yearn for thoughtfulness more than money. They treasure a partner who notices the small details, who remembers their stories, and who acts with kindness without being asked. William's gentle attentions made Grace feel cherished and seen. It was this quiet thoughtfulness that built a foundation of trust and affection stronger than any fortune. The poets of old celebrated this virtue. They wrote of lovers who gave not gold, but gifts of heart, letters penned with care, moments carved out for listening, and deeds done in silence. So if you want to understand what a woman secretly treasures beyond wealth, think of William and Grace. It is thoughtfulness, the gentle art of showing you care, that truly wins the heart. In a world that often rushes past the quiet moments, being thoughtful is a rare and precious gift. It speaks to the soul in ways that riches never can and builds a love that endures through all seasons. 5. Security, the shelter of a loving heart. Many years ago, in a village surrounded by towering mountains, there lived a man named Edward and a woman named Anne. Their lives were simple, but the bond between them was strong. Forged not by riches, but by a profound sense of security, something far deeper than gold could ever provide. Edward was a man who understood that true security goes beyond money in the bank. It is the quiet assurance that, no matter what life brings, one's heart and home are safe. Anne had seen too many around her falter in times of hardship, but with Edward she found something rare, peace. One cold winter's night, as the wind howled outside their small cottage, Anne found herself anxious and afraid. She worried about the coming months, about illness, and about the future they could not control. Edward sat beside her, holding her hand gently. "Fear may come," he said softly, "but know this, here, in this home, you are safe. I will stand by you always." His words were not empty promises, but a shield forged from steadfast love and unwavering commitment. For Anne, this sense of security was a fortress. It gave her strength to face the storms both inside and out. The village elder often spoke of security as the true treasure. "A castle built of stone is strong," he said, "but a home built on love and trust is unbreakable." Security is the warmth that protects the heart from cold despair. In today's world, many believe that money alone can bring security, yet women secretly yearn for something more enduring, the emotional safety that comes from knowing their partner is dependable, honest, and faithful. They want to feel protected, not just from the hardships of life, but from loneliness, doubt, and fear. Edward's steady presence gave Anne the courage to dream and the confidence to love fully. This kind of security does not come with a price tag. It is earned through trust, consistency, and the simple acts of care repeated day after day. The great stories of old are filled with heroes who provided more than riches. They gave shelter to their loved ones, a safe harbor amid life's storms. Kings and knights spoke of the honor in protecting not just lands, but hearts. So if you want to understand what a woman truly treasures beyond wealth, remember Edward and Anne's story. It is security, the shelter of a loving heart, that she desires most. In a world often filled with uncertainty, being a source of security is the greatest gift a man can give. It is a promise unspoken but deeply felt, a refuge where love can grow strong and true. 6. Tradition, the roots that bind hearts across time. In a small village where the seasons marked the rhythm of life, lived a couple named Henry and Margaret. Their story was woven not just from their love, but from the rich tapestry of traditions passed down through generations. Customs and values that shaped their lives and gave meaning to their bond. Henry was a man who respected the ways of his ancestors. He believed that tradition was not about holding on to the past for its own sake, but about honoring the wisdom and love that had been carried through time. Margaret, too, cherished these customs, the simple rituals that made their home feel like a sacred place. Each year, as winter's chill gave way to spring, the village gathered for the Feast of Renewal. It was a time when families came together to celebrate life, to remember those who had come before, and to strengthen the bonds between neighbors and loved ones. Henry and Margaret prepared for the feast with care. They baked bread using a recipe handed down from Margaret's grandmother and set the table with linen embroidered by her mother. As they worked side by side, they shared stories of the past, tales of hardship and joy, of lessons learned and love preserved. One evening, as the village elder spoke by the firelight, he reminded everyone why tradition matters. Tradition is the thread that connects our hearts to those who walked before us. It is the anchor that holds us steady when the world changes. Through tradition, we find our place, our purpose, and our promise to those who come after. For Margaret, these traditions were a source of comfort and strength. They made her feel part of something larger, a story that transcended her own life and connected her to generations of women who had loved and been loved in return. In a world that often rushes toward the new and unknown, women secretly treasure tradition more than money. They long for the stability and continuity that tradition provides, the feeling that love is not fleeting, but rooted deeply in shared values and time-honored ways. Henry's respect for tradition created a home filled with warmth and meaning. It was a place where Margaret felt her worth, her history, and her future all held gently together. The poets and storytellers of old understood this well. They sang of lovers who honored their families and their past, knowing that love flourishes best when it is nourished by roots as well as wings. So if you want to understand what a woman secretly treasures beyond wealth, think of Henry and Margaret's story. It is tradition, the sacred roots that bind hearts across time, that she holds dear. In a world that often forgets the past in the rush to the future, honoring tradition is a timeless act of love. It is a promise that the values, the lessons, and the love of yesterday will live on in the hearts of tomorrow. In the end, true love is not found in gold or riches, but in the timeless values that have guided hearts through the ages: respect, loyalty, quality time, thoughtfulness, security, and tradition. These are the treasures women hold closest to their hearts, quietly yearning for a love that honors the past and builds a future rooted in trust and care. Thank you for watching. If you found this video meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories that celebrate the timeless truths of love and life. What timeless value means the most to you? Let us know in the comments below. Until next time, cherish what truly matters.